The world's largest hotel chain is taking a stand against plastic waste. Marriott announced it's getting rid of these. You're familiar with them. They are the ubiquitous travel-sized tubes of shampoo, conditioner and bath gel, or bath gel, conditioner and shampoo. I'm never sure which order. I always manage to get the wrong one, and on many occasions I've actually put hand lotion all over my hair. Instead, they're going to be replaced with larger bottles. The change affects roughly 500,000 rooms at 7,000 hotels at the end of next year. Marriott says it will reduce plastic disposal by nearly a third. That's more than 900 tonnes annually. IHG, which owns Holiday Inn, announced a similar move last month. We're very pleased to have Marriott CEO Arne Sorenson, who joins me from Washington. Arne, good to see you, sir. You don't make these decisions lightly. Why did you decide to do it?
Well, it's obvious, obviously, in many respects. It's about 500 million little bottles every year that we're using today and sadly disposing in the landfill. And so we've been looking at this for the last couple of years. We've obviously got it already rolled out in about 1,000 what we would say is select service or mid-market hotels in the United States. But we've been wrestling the last few months with how do we get this rolled out to all 7,000 hotels. It's about 1.4 million rooms. So you told me I'd correct you on this. I better correct you on it. But in 130 countries around the world, we want to make sure we get the supply chain right. We got to make sure we get the branding right so that in luxury brands it is a luxury experience, and we've got to make sure that we get the tamper-proof and other bits of this right, so that it can be reliable, safe, and so that we can recycle these larger bottles that we use in the future. And we're really excited to roll it out.
I mean, congratulations on doing it. How are you going to stop people stealing the larger bottles?
It's an interesting one. I think in many brands they will be affixed to the brackets or to the wall, and so it'll be a little bit harder to walk out. You know, a funny story, when we moved my mother about a decade ago from her townhouse into sort of an independent living arrangement, I found in a very large drawer in her bathroom a full drawer of unopened hotel soap. Now, it won't surprise you to know that they were mostly Marriott branded bars of soap. But here, you know, this Depression-era woman had collected soap from every place she stayed and basically never used them. We know lots of people take the toiletries from hotels. I don't think really it's that big a deal to them. I think most of them will look at this and say, this is much more sustainable, makes more sense. And by the way, I can get more shampoo if I've got long hair.
Guilty. If you come and stay at my apartment and use the spare bathroom, I think you'll feel quite at home with the condiments and shampoos. Arne, look, the wider issue of sustainability. The airline industry is being clobbered, the perception that they're not doing enough. Hotels are doing a lot, but I suspect you're next in the firing line for are you doing enough?
Well, there's always that, and by the way, we will always be able to do better. This is a journey which does not have a final destination, in the sense that every year we're looking at new opportunities. I remember a decade or so ago, we talked to our paint suppliers and said, if we agree to buy only low volatile organic compound paint, can you supply it to us on cost-effective terms? And they quickly said, if you'll guarantee the volume, we'll deliver it at economic terms. And we've been doing that with various things in our supply chain for the last decade or so, probably longer than that. We've got goals set up. One of our goals by 2025, particularly germane to this, is to reduce the amount of stuff we send to the landfill by 45%, nearly half. We're obviously doing things around energy efficiency, water usage efficiency, but we got to do that and also make sure that we're not clobbering our guests over the head with choices that they don't want us to make on their behalf.
And that is always the problem at the luxury end, isn't it? The hotel. You and I have discussed this at various symposia, where you've going to have to at some point say, even to the five-star hotel guest, we're not changing your sheets every day. It doesn't make environmental sense to do it. Or what I've always believed is you opt in to have your sheets changed, rather than the other way around.
Right. And that's essentially where we already are with all of our brands, including the luxury brands. I've yet to meet somebody who says, I wash my sheets every night at home. every night at home. And I think people understand if I'm staying someplace for a couple of nights, that's fine. As long as the bed is made and tidied up, that's perfectly okay. That's a change that's already been made. And, you know, I think there are things that we can do that are invisible to the guests in terms of where we source energy, how reliant we are on green energy. But energy will be used in hotels. We can't deliver the kind of experience our guests want by having no energy there.
Let me ask you, the business itself, there are so many economic headwinds wherever we look. The trade dispute with China. Now, you, of course, are very big in China and aiming to get much bigger. You've got Brexit, which must be giving your UK division conniptions. What are you most worried about on the geopolitical front at the moment?
Well, it all comes back to trade, and obviously you can put trade as a description around Brexit. You can put trade as a description around the U.S.-China relationships or China's relationships with the rest of the world today. But trade is obviously something which drives hotel demand, and uncertainty causes anxiety in major participants in the economy, which can in turn cause the economy to slow. What we've seen so far has actually been fairly encouraging. Even look at London in the midst of all this Brexit conversation. London has been performing spectacularly well this year. Why? Well, partly because the pound is cheap and the Americans are there on vacation, and Chinese are traveling to Europe in record numbers. You look at the United States, and while year-over-year performance is not very exciting, in absolute terms, the economy is strong and hotels are performing well. But there's plenty of anxiety when you look at the horizon.
Quick final question. I'm going to ask you, how are you feeling? I know you're going through some pretty dramatic medical issues at the moment, but you're looking well.
Well, thank you, Richard, very much. I feel great, actually, which makes this cancer battle a little bit surreal to me. We're about 4 months into it. We've got another 4 or 5 or 6 months before we can turn around and say, did we accomplish what we needed to accomplish? But our doctors are optimistic. I'm optimistic. I feel good. And I'm just glad to be engaged in the battle and optimistic about the outcome.